Morty has repeatedly proved that it likes to tell episodic, self-contained stories rather than enjoying the full potential of where each of these stories could take them in the endless world of sci-fi, potentially becoming the next Battlestar Galactica. The showrunners, kind of like Rick himself, recognize that infinite worlds, which they're going to get to fully explore with a 70-episode package from Adult Swim, implies that a grand narrative will become obsolete. People have always wanted an arc. The main complaint that a lot of people, including my partner, had was that there was no overarching story and everything was pointless and nihilistic, which, you know, is kind of ironic because that's how Rick is, sort of. The more logical minds may find it less enjoyable knowing that they're investing so much time without an overarching story or something to look forward to in the end or as time goes by. In Season 5, Episode 10, the finale, Rick, Morai, Jack, we get a bit of what fans have been waiting for. Some of the writers of the show had promised that Season 5 episodes would be more canon-focused than in the years gone by. Rick Sanchez saying as much during the show.
Whoa, dead wife?
Yes, now everyone can shut up about it.
Wow, Rick, he's a hot bag of peanuts, isn't he? We've been through a lot, and he does not like
serialized drama.
Right, no drama. Keep it episodic.
So as they all seem to agree on, they just want to keep things episodic. It seems to be fan service that the writers were either planning all along or an F you, shut up already, here you go, now let's move on. So what is Rick's origin story? Well, Rick Sanchez's origin story is very relatable. He said there once was a man named Rick Sanchez, and together with his wife, they later had a beautiful daughter, and losing them both is what would start off his story. This almost seems like a villain origin story, and I guess depending on which planet or POV you're on or taking the show from, Rick can be either the villain or the hero, but mostly seems like the villain. Kinda got some Kang the Conqueror vibes going on there. So once upon a time, an evil, or probably just ordinary Rick, dropped into Rick C-137's timeline to invite him along on multiverse adventures, or so we're led to believe. Our Rick refused, and as a result, the other Rick blew up his garage, killing his wife Diane and daughter Beth. Did he do that on purpose? I don't know. I mean, how could he have known that the daughter and wife would have been there? And is he a Rick that also had a wife and daughter as well? Did he cause his own ordeal? I don't know. Rick C-137 became depressed and developed his first basic portal gun, which he used to traverse through every possible timeline and universe to exact revenge. Thousands upon thousands of his fellow Ricks were slain in the process. Unfortunately, he never found the Rick he was looking for, the one that killed his wife and daughter. He had become numb with all the killing, and killed so much of himself that it seems like a piece of him died every time. These Ricks had all been gathering together before he offed them all, planning on taking him out. That's how all of them ended up hating him in the first place. Through all the destruction, two of the Ricks begged for their lives, basically surrendering to our Rick. Rick seemed to have been tired from all the killing anyway, and he wasn't getting any closer to finding the evil Rick. I just feel so bad for them sitting there begging. So our Rick founded the Citadel of Ricks so that all the Ricks could live in relative peace. After that, he then traveled to a timeline where Beth had grown up. Apparently, in no other universe, Diane lived, and it seemed that as long as he was part of the equation, he would lose both his daughter and Diane. The only great outcome is in those realities where he left his family. And that's why when he crashes into the garage after many years, and Beth is all grown up and she sees her father, she bursts into tears. Must have been like seeing a ghost. But this clearly acknowledges her abandonment issues and where Rick had been all this time. And now we also get a better understanding of Beth. Imagine having lost your mother, and then your father left, and you don't know if he's dead or alive, and then your father comes back after a long time, which seems to be the only family that Beth has, aside from her husband and children. Rick Sanchez then bonds with his grandson Morty, and that's how his adventure starts, or their adventures start together. What's messed up about all of this? It's possible that Rick could have chosen a reality where Diane was still alive. But why does that grenade look like a coronavirus? It doesn't make sense that in every single reality, Diane is dead. I think the issue is that Rick only wanted to exist in the realities where he was the ultimate god or smartest man in the universe. And possibly, ironically, in those universes where he is the smartest man alive or smartest being in existence, Diane always dies. So he basically chooses immortality and his daughter being alive as a trade-off for having Diane out of the picture, as well as possibly being ordinary or for someone less than he is. You may think that's selfish, but anytime something happens to Morty or his family, most of the time, Rick can fix it. He also probably got so addicted to dimension hopping that he can't imagine going back to a time where he can't do anything about it if someone dies or protect himself. So he locks off these realities into what is called the central finite curve, where he is completely OP'd and can jump into another one if one doesn't work out. All the Ricks also were okay with this, and it really doesn't explain Doofus Rick, but whatever. It's also possible that evil Rick fully intended to kill his family. family, because our Rick probably didn't want to go, knowing that he would have to leave his family to do so. It seemed as though our Rick was already some sort of inventor. As you can see, his garage is littered with robots and a whole bunch of tech that he's experimenting on. So he did have the potential to become a genius. He just wasn't motivated at the time because he hadn't lost his family. It's possible this evil Rick was trying to do that, or he was just an asshole. Now I want to know what that guy's deal is. The other Rick that our Rick never ended up finding. So that's the backstory, and my reaction to season 5's finale is I was ecstatic. I like how they made true on the whole Crow miniseries. That was freaking awesome, and I was just about screaming when I saw Evil Morty on screen. Holy crap. As a matter of fact, I knew it was him before he announced it. I figured. The writers told everyone not to expect anything because they wanted to be a surprise, or they didn't want people to get their hopes up in case they didn't deliver. That would give them an out in case they didn't do anything. Or they really hadn't planned to do this and just decided to at the last minute because everyone was bitching about it. This episode felt more like earlier Rick and Morty episodes. It had funny banter, cool action sequence that made you feel more invested in it, and Morty's evil theme. Oh my god, I love that song so freaking much. That will forever remind me of Rick and Morty. I also love Evil Morty's character. He's his own character now. He destroyed the infinite curve. Now imagine, on his side of reality, he is the smartest being in existence. I also noticed that in the last part, this seems to be a specific universe that he's after. I don't know what is it with this specific universe, but someone did an edit of this, and they edited in a crystal version of Jessica when she was encased in that thing where she had to see all time pass. And I got to really think about it. If Morty wanted to, he could have Jessica. He probably never got to have Jessica because Rick was always in the way. Think about it. Every time Morty on this side of the fence wanted to have a relationship with Jessica, something involving Rick's tech or Rick himself would always cock-block that. So he would never get a chance to be happy with Jessica, ever. Morty even said as much in one of the episodes that he can't ever just get to have his happy ending with Jessica because Rick is always part of the equation. But Morty always feels compelled to help Rick or be there for him. So when he was supposed to have a good date with Jessica, he just couldn't leave it alone. You know, he was trying to help out his grandpa instead of being a regular teenage kid, having fun, experiencing his first kiss without any stress or anything, aside from being nervous. Rick was always in the way of that happiness. Even if he never ended up with Jessica, still, through Rick himself not being happy and always being tied up with dimension hopping, Morty himself that has his whole life ahead of him never even gets to enjoy those moments. The only time he got to enjoy that was with a female Captain Planet who turned out to be a complete psycho. It's like Morty can't ever just be happy as long as Rick is in the equation. And a big part of that is because of his complete dependence on Rick. While Rick was away doing his crow thing, Morty could have had a happy life and move on and do all the things he wanted to do, but he was more concerned with Rick coming back. And that's because, just like Rick, Morty is addicted to traveling the cosmos and the different realities. Once you have that kind of power, no matter how toxic the relationship is with the person who supplies it, it's always going to be addicting. And that person is never going to give you 100% of their love like you expect from having a normal relationship. Kind of like Doctor Who and his companions, who almost always seem to fall in love with him, almost all of them. But most of them just never leave, they just stay there because, you know, he's a freaking Time Lord and he can travel through frickin' space and time. You'd risk having your heart broken. It's kind of like a catch-22. You fall in love with this person because of that power and because of how badass he is, yet he will never give you what you're asking for. However, that power though, knowing he is going to be there for you to get you out of situations, know you are going to see things that as a normal person living a normal life you will never get to experience. There's something excruciatingly appealing about seeing everything from a bird's eye view or just from the top down from a universe's perspective, that nothing matters. That's why Morty is able to, in these last episodes, just kill without any consequence because he's so used to it. As long as he's not part of that universe, people should respect him, right? His grandfather's Rick, and he's his grandson. Rick gave him certain tech as well, so he can also explore and have fun. He can go get wine and kill whole civilizations, because to him, they age so quickly, every second of his life is like hundreds of theirs. He'll never know any of them. He doesn't care about their lives because it's finite. He's so jaded. And in that moment is his little 14-year-old brain, because of how much he's seen with his grandfather, He thinks that killing a whole bunch of them just to get them out of the way so he can get some wine to give to his grandfather so he can go back on his date is completely okay. For sure, it was a fantastic and memorable episode. Probably it's the conclusion of the Evil Morty arc. I look forward to season 6. I do have to say, aside from the season finale and the episode before that, this season, aside from the Captain America one, aside from the Captain Planet one, I felt like maybe it's one of the weaker seasons. Like, I don't know. I feel like the seasons before this were a bit more hefty. That's just me. I don't know. Something about it was like, did they get different writers or something? Because it doesn't seem to slap as hard as it once did. For one, it also seems like Rick is totally nerfed. I know there's some situations where he doesn't get out of everything, but when Rick was in a pickle in Pickle Rick, he got out of it. He always finds a way to get out of everything. He always sees 10 steps ahead, at least most of the time. But Morty can somehow easily lie to him in certain situations that he should be good at getting out of. He can't. Just, I don't know. In a lot of ways, it feels like a completely different Rick to me, but that's just me. I still enjoy the worlds. I still enjoy all the alien worlds and different alien types and monsters we get to see. Somebody was saying that because all the dimensions are gone now, or not all gone, but the central finite curve, it's gonna open up a lot of other possibilities for adventures and other things that Rick probably has never even imagined before. He understood a lot about the universe because he only existed within that central finite universe, which is still a lot. Sorry, the central finite curve. I gotta get used to saying that. But now that everything is gone, I think that Morty, Evil Morty, cut off that universe that we saw at the end is probably that universe that he has bubbled up, that he's like, no, this is my one little world, separated from everybody else's world. I just want to live in peace and be normal. Nobody can come here that I don't come in here, only me. That's what I'm guessing. But that's probably how we're gonna get to see Cthulhu and a host of so many other things. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. This has been Alteori. You ask, we answer.